Experiences are what people love most about travel. With Viator, you can browse and book tours and activities so incredible you'll want to tell your friends. They offer everything from simple tours to extreme adventures in over 190 countries. There's something for everyone. Download the Viator app now and use Viator 10 for 10% off your first booking. One app, over 300,000 experiences you'll remember. Do more with Viator.
Inspiration.
I can do anything.
Education.
Let's do this.
And application.
Oh boy, this is gonna be good.
Welcome to Like It Matters Radio. Keeping us out of the water hazard with some truth therapy and teeing up solutions for today's big issues. Here's your life caddy, Mr. Scott V. Black.
So welcome to the world of Mr. Black.
Are you confused by where the world is at? Are you wondering what the heck is happening in today's world? Are you surprised by the anger, the bitterness, the strife that's all around us? Do you know eschatology? Honestly, do you know what the word eschatology even means? Are you aware of Iran, the country of Iran, and our history with them, and the prophetic role they play in the near future? Well, today on Like It Matters Radio, boy, you're going to have the answer to a lot of those questions. I am so excited about today's show. Today's show, we're going to go across the world. We're going to have what some call the Billy Graham of Iran. So we're so blessed. I'll talk a little bit more about Dr. Hormoz Shariat, but we're so lucky you are blessed. He's going to be with us for the whole hour. But before we get to that, let's do a little housekeeping. You know, I have in front of us this Solzhenitsyn, whatever you want to call it, Solzhenitsyn quote. You know, if you don't know who he is, I can't say his name, but he was a Russian writer, a prominent Soviet dissident. And he was an outspoken critic of communism and helped to raise global awareness of political repression in the Soviet Union, in particular in the Gulag system, the prison system. And he has this great quote, and he says, "We know they are lying. They know they are lying. They know that we know they are lying. We know that they know that we know they are lying. And still, they continue to lie." And I think that's an appropriate quote to start off the day, because we're going to be talking about the theocracy in Iran and what's going on over there, and how that country has abused their citizens. You know, we could say the same thing here in the country of America, but much different length, if you will. But, you know, there's so much going on in the world, and this is why I love doing this radio show. This is why we need this radio show. You know, I was this morning getting ready for this radio show, and I got a great text, and he said, "This show is on fire lately. I don't know what you did recently, but the audio sounds great. Keep it up. I'm praying for you." You know, that's a listener from California. And we got listeners all over the world. Matter of fact, part of it is because the incredible guests like the one we're going to have today. But for those of you that listen to podcasts, I want you to know I had an incredible interview. I had what I'm calling 8 minutes with the woman who brought down Roe v. Wade, Marjorie Dannenfelser. What an incredible woman. And so I had about 10 minutes to interview her, and this will be available only on podcast. Only on podcast. It'll be on Thursday's podcast. You got to, wherever you listen to podcasts, just search Living Life Like It Matters. And please like us, please share it, please listen to it, download it, send it to other people, because we are on the verge of creating something great. We're starting to increase our impact and increase our responsibility and be able to impact more people. And today you're going to hear from Dr. Shariat, and you're going to hear, when you listen to the podcast, Marjorie Dannenfelser. And what you're going to hear is people that are choosing to step out, people that are choosing to risk, people that are choosing to take a chance, to not conform, to not fit in, to use this time of confusion, of anger, and so they can make a difference. And it's really about the ability to risk, to step out, to have faith, to have courage. And William Arthur Ward wrote a great, great poem or it's a story. I don't know. It doesn't really rhyme. I consider, poems things that rhyme, but not everybody considers that. But it's called To Risk. He says to laugh is to risk appearing the fool. To weep is to risk appearing sentimental. To reach out is to risk involvement. To expose feelings is to risk exposing yourself to the truth. To place your ideas and dreams before a crowd is to risk their loss. To love is to risk not being loved in return. To live is to risk dying. To hope is to risk despair. To try is to risk failure. But risk must be taken, because the greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. The person who risks nothing does nothing, has nothing, and is nothing. And this is why we do Like It Matters Radio. And we are getting some great guests, and today continues the trend in the great people that we're getting on this radio, so you can know, so you can be inspired, so you can be educated, so you can be motivated. In other words, take action to do something. Take risk. Why? Because your life matters. And so today on Like It Matters Radio, we're going to go global. You know, one of my key words I love to discuss is vision. And leaders have the ability of vision. Vision is to see how things play out. Vision's about connecting the dots, identifying the patterns of the environment or culture that we're in. And what vision does, it shows us where we're likely headed. It's a pattern. See, America is a piece of the world puzzle. We're not the center of the universe. We're a piece of the pie, a piece of the puzzle. However, we are so interconnected that changes across the globe affect us here in America. And today you're going to see that. And so after the break, we're going to bring on Dr. Hormoz Shariat. He is the founder of Iran Live Ministries. Dr. Shariat has been called the Billy Graham of Iran. Dr. Shariat believes it's about, what's going on in Iran right now is about over 4 decades of pent-up anger, frustration, and disgust toward the Islamic Republic of Iran and its dictatorship over them. Dr. Shariat has an incredible broadcast. He accesses potentially 130 million people in Iran. And Dr. Shariat has an audience, rough about 6 million daily viewers, 20 million weekly viewers of his satellite program in Iran. And Dr. Shariat has been doing ministry among Muslim-born Iranians as a Muslim background believer for the last 40 years. Iran Alive Ministries was birthed 22 years ago and is using modern technology to share the gospel, to train believers, and to fuel a discipleship-making movement in Iran. Thousands of Iranians are coming to Christ each year through his ministry. And I thought it'd be a great blessing to bring this man on, the man who risked his life, who risked everything he has for what he believes. And today we're going to talk about biblical prophecies and how that fits in with Iran. How about the strategies to transform a nation like Iran? And how did a man born in a Muslim country, raised Muslim, choose to walk away from that and walk with Jesus, the Messiah? We got a great interview coming up. You don't want to miss this. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
I could listen to any national big personality like Glenn Beck or Dave Ramsey, but the way Scott Black applies his academic approach to the average person is so much more relatable. Hey, this is Brett from Sacramento. On the Like It Matters radio show, Scott encompasses a 360-degree view of day-to-day life. So that obviously starts with spirituality and branches out into leadership, branches out into your workplace, social issues, family issues, local issues, national issues, political issues. If you're able to clearly see kind of where you're at, what your purpose is, everybody needs this. It is life-changing.
You know Like It Matters Radio brings truth therapy. Here's what you can do to help share this truth. Please call the program manager of your local radio station and ask them to add Like It Matters Radio to their schedule. Like It Matters Radio is radio like it matters.
From Lakeville to Lake Superior and Champlain to Chile, We're where you are. Freedom 1570, ringing liberty and truth. Listen in anytime, anywhere at Odyssey.com or with the free Odyssey app. Turbulent times call for clear-headed insight. That's hard to come by these days, especially on TV. That's where we come in. The new Salem News Channel, the greatest collection of conservative minds, all in one place. Home to the people you trust. Dennis Prager, Mike Gallagher, Sebastian Gorka, and more. Refreshingly honest, always unfiltered. Streaming free on your TV 24/7. Intelligent analysis for intelligent people. Find what you're looking for at snc.tv. That's snc.tv.
If you're like most Commerce Water customers, a wet technology softener will save you 700 gallons of water and 300 pounds of salt each year. Get $400 for your old water softener, and Commerce will even haul it away. Call Commerce Water, commerce.com.
Welcome to the world of Mr. Black.
You've had a difference in your relationship with God, too. Tell me about that.
I was raised in a church, and I kind of stepped away in my adult life, and this class kind of brought me right back to my faith, and that's a huge part of my life that's just been missing. And I feel rejuvenated, if that makes sense, that, knowing that God's walking right next to me every day, every night. He's right here for me and everyone else for that matter, but he's here for me right now.
And you have some peace, don't you?
Oh, it's really amazing. Sorry, I'm going to get emotional.
That's okay.
But it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling inside my heart.
Like It Matters' unique approach allows people to see, hear, and experience leadership in motion. Like It Matters Radio. Radio like it matters.
Welcome back to Like It Matters Radio. Radio, like it matters, inspiration, education, and application. And today on Like It Matters Radio, we are going global. There's so many questions that people have. I study eschatology as a man of God, and it's really basically how the end times kind of wrap up, how the closing of the book, if you will. And it's just fascinating. And there's a saying I learned in the military when I was young. I went in the Army at 17 years old after I graduated from high school in 1983. And I don't remember much about my military experience, but I do remember the 6 Ps. Proper preparation prevents piss-poor performance. I'll never forget that. Proper preparation prevents piss-poor performance. And during COVID, I was reminded of this because don't be scared, be prepared. Whether you're talking about COVID or eschatology, the end times, or your business or your family life, don't be scared, because the body releases 63 known chemicals, and the fear alone by itself, I think, has about 1,400 known elements connected to it. So, but the way you prepare yourself is you understand the times. You know where we're at. A good warrior sees this whole battlefield. And today, you're going to hear from a great warrior. I don't want to do a lot of intro. I covered that in the last break, but I want to bring our guest on. But you are blessed because Like It Matters Radio is so honored to present to you Dr. Hormoz Shariat. And he is the founder of Iran Alive Ministries, which utilizes satellite TV to broadcast Christian programming to a potential audience of 130 million people in Iran and the Middle East. So without further ado, let's bring on Dr. Shariat. Dr. Shariat, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, I'm so glad that you invited me to share. I hope your listeners will be inspired and encouraged by what God is doing.
Oh, I'm telling you, when I just reading, just your little 1.5 page or 2 page thing, I got chills. I'm going to tell you right now, I consider myself a warrior for God. And when I see what you're doing, I got to be honest, I feel like I'm not worthy to shine your shoes, my brother. I'm just being honest with you. I am so impressed by what you're doing. Tell us real quick, what is Iran Alive Ministries? What does it do?
Well, our goal is to use media to get into people's homes in Iran and transform Iran into a Christian nation, hopefully in this generation. So transform Iran to a Christian nation, one soul at a time. That's our mission statement. And some people are shocked. What are you talking about? Iran, a Christian nation? What are you just what did you take? What are you eating? So my thing is, where did you get that idea? Scott asked me, where did you get that idea? Iran be a Christian nation? I said, I stole that idea. You stole it from who?
Where?
From where?
Yeah.
I stole it from the Lord in Jeremiah 49:38, because the Lord promises he will set his throne in Elam, which is completely inside the land of Iran. So this is a vision guaranteed by God that it will come to pass.
Wow. Wow, and you're a conduit. That's why I love, as a leader, you are a powerful leader, sir. As a leader, we can be two vessels. You can either be a cistern or a conduit. Cistern's a vase, a vase. Jeremiah, when the Jews didn't believe him that they were going to be in captivity for a while, they threw him in a pit. It was a cistern. And a lot of people are poured into. They hold on to stuff, but it never goes anywhere. But a conduit is a pass-through agent. Like the Dead Sea is the lowest, one of the lowest places in the world. And a lot of people out there don't realize this, but a lot of water underground feeds the Dead Sea, but nothing comes out of the Dead Sea. And that's why it's dead. And you are a conduit. You are using God's power, just like Jesus told the rich young ruler, told his disciples, with God, nothing's impossible. With man, this is impossible. But with God, all things are possible. But you're a believer in I guess Iran's not a Muslim country, right? It's is it a Muslim country, or would you call it an Arab country?
Well, first, Iranians are not Arabs, okay?
That's
ethnically, correct. In language, are not. If you want to insult an Iranian, call him Arab. He won't like it. So, but
my apologies.
It is on the. No, I'm fine. I'm just on paper, Scott. On paper, it's an Islamic nation. And one of the outrageous statements, I may make a lot of outrageous statements and shock people. One of them is this: Iran is no longer an Islamic nation. I used to say that a lot, and then people say, "Are you crazy?" No, just Google it. It's 98% Muslims. And so I kind of quieted down for a while. But 2 years ago, there was an independent research survey done by 2 university professors. They asked over 50,000 Iranians. So that's solid research. 50,000 Iranians. What do you believe? And less than, are you ready to be shocked? Less than 1/3 of those people said we believe in Islam. Less than 1/3. So, yes, on the paper, Iran an Islamic nation, but in reality, Iran is the first Islamic nation that will turn to Christ. And in Iran, there is a history happening. Islam is experiencing its greatest defeat in its history in Iran today. And after 40-some years of Islamic rule, the people of Iran have come to the conclusion that Islam is not our answer. Islam is a problem, and we need to get rid of it. So there is a revival going in Iran today.
Wow. Oh, that's so impressive. Well, how did you, you wrote a book. I have not read it, but I see it referenced here, Iran's Great Awakening. And in it, you talk about your spiritual journey out of Islam into Christianity. Could you take a few minutes and take us through that journey?
Yeah, Iran's Great Awakening. It's a book. It has 3 parts. The first part is my spiritual journey. The second part is a very careful study of biblical prophecies about Iran and Israel. By the way, they're very tied together, those prophecies. And then the last part is a strategy. How do you transform Iran into a Christian nation? So you can talk about changing and transforming the world, but if you don't have a strategy, you're just talking. So we are not talking. We are doing it. We are doing it at Iran Alive. Now, going back to my story, I was born in Iran as a Muslim, pretty devout in my early years. But when I got to be a teenager, I said, just memorizing these prayers and repeating them doesn't really add anything to me. Just be a good person and focus on your goal, on the studies. My dream was to come to the United States, get a PhD, and be a research scientist. So I studied hard. I was a very good student. And at the time of revolution, in 1979, I was a young student on the streets of Tehran, and I was shouting death to Shah and death to America. I want to assure you, I've changed my mind about that one because
yes.
This is a blessed. This is a blessed country. This is a blessed country. Sometimes I believe those who come from other nations, we value what's in the United States more than those who are born here. But this is, I think, God bless America, and I mean that. But then I come to the United States. I was a PhD student at the University of Southern California, and I got interested in spiritual things. I said, I'm going to be a good Muslim. I'm going to read the Quran really carefully, and if it's true, I'm going to dedicate my life to serving Islam. I read Quran one more time. It didn't really add anything to my life. Then I said, well, I'm an open-minded person. I call myself a researcher. Why don't I read other books before I make a final decision? So I got a Bible, read some Genesis, and then jumped to New Testament, Matthew, and there I encountered Jesus. So by comparing Islam, by comparing Quran with the Bible, that's how I came to Christ in Southern California.
Wow. Now, have you ever read the Angel? I actually study the Quran. I work with an organization in Minneapolis, and so I study the Quran. I got an English version of it, and I'm stunned by the Quran. What it said, 70% of the Quran is from the Bible. The other 30% is weird stuff. But 30 years ago, or maybe 20 years ago, I read a book. I'll never forget it. It really changed my mind. From Jihad to Jesus by Jerry Rasami, I think his name was, and it really affected me. Big time. It actually opened my heart up to actually reach out and preach to Muslims a little more because I can talk to a Muslim about Jesus. I think there's 94 ayats in the Quran about Isa al-Masih. It says he's a breath of Allah. Even the Quran says too that when in doubt of the signs, seek out people of the previous books. I was stunned when I read that. But a lot of Muslims don't read their Quran like a lot of Christians don't read our Bible. But I'm stunned by the work you do. What kind of results are you seeing on a regular basis? Are you seeing regular results?
It is amazing. It is amazing how the Lord has opened up the nation, an Islamic nation. Joel Rosenberg and, Charisma Magazine call me Billy Graham of Iran. I don't call myself. My response is this. Iranians are so open to the gospel that if you share the gospel with them, you can be the Billy Graham of Iran. That's what I'm doing. Share the gospel through media. We use satellite television. We go the signal over the heads of the mullahs into people's homes, in the privacy of their homes, and we talk to them about the love of Christ. And you know what? They are ready for it. They receive that. Of course, we use internet also, but internet is very much controlled by the government of Iran. So right now, satellite television, people's homes, we see much result. Now, in terms of
hold
results,
on, Doctor, we're getting ready to go. Doctor, we're getting ready to go to a hard break. Listen, I want to talk about this because what you do on satellite, the internet, I got some stuff here. I want to talk about that because that's really the heart of your ministry. That's how you get in front of people. And my listeners have a lot of questions like, I thought it was illegal to be a Christian in Iran. So there's a lot of this stuff I want to talk about. So please stay with us. We're getting ready to go to a hard break. After the break, we'll pick up our conversation with Dr. Hormoz Shariat from the Billy Graham of Iran. We'll be right back.
We are all in the construction business, constructing memories, relationships, new ideas, and a legacy that will outlive us. Life is best imagined as a construction project.
Hey, can we get that backhoe over here?
At Like It Matters, we craft tools and teach you how to use them. Mr. Black has a bevy of tools to help you build your life into your dream. One of those tools is individual life counseling. The best analogy is a life caddy, because sometimes you just need another set of eyes. A second tool, books by Mr. Black, always opening up your mind. Third, workshops, where we teach people how they work and how to function at a higher level. And don't forget the daily radio show, Like It Matters, at 11 a.m. on Freedom 1570.
Nice job. That's it for today. Wrap it up.
Contact Mr. Black at mr.black@likeitmatters.net. Building a better you today. Likeitmatters.net. Helping people live their lives like they matter. That's Mr. Black at likeitmatters.net. Discover the tools to build your relationships, your vision, and your life.
Dennis Prager here. Sue and I mean it when we say dogs are part of our family, and there's nothing like their loyal companionship. So we provide them with Rough Greens, R-U-F-F, because we want them to feel healthy and be with us as long as possible. I know Charlie Kirk feels the same way.
The Pragers and I couldn't agree more. I rely on my trusted furry friend, Mr. Briggs, who's an absolute machine, and he relies on me to provide what's best for him. Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black has packed Rough Greens, not a dog food, but a supplement full of vitamins, minerals, digestive enzymes, and omega oils that Mr. Briggs absolutely needs and loves. Trying Rough Greens for your dog just makes sense.
Greetings, Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black here. I'm honored that the Pragers and Charlie trust their dog's health to Rough Green. I'm so confident that Rough Green can help your dog too that I'm offering you a free Jumpstart trial bag. Just cover the shipping. Yes, dog food is dead food, but it doesn't have to be. Go to ruffgreens.com.
Here's a real student testimonial for Like It Matters Leadership Awakening Training.
The way we met Scott was through an answered prayer. We had a business associate who recommended a leadership training process. Initially, I had been through just a series of all kinds of leadership training and felt like I had been trained as much as I possibly could. We went hesitantly. But the one thing, it would have to be consistent with my faith. And it was your awakening class. And that class was absolutely not only the answer to prayers, business, but personally. It gave us the tools and it gave us the foundation to be able to really formalize and verbalize our values.
To learn more from Mr. Black, the next Leadership Awakening class in Minneapolis is August 31st through September 2nd. Details at likeitmatters.net. That's likeitmatters.net.
Welcome back to Like It Matters Radio. Radio, like it matters, inspiration, education, and application. Today, we are blessed with a guest all the way from Iran. Dr. Hormoz Shariat is the founder of Iran Alive Ministries, and what it does is it uses satellite TV to broadcast Christian programming to basically all of Iran, potentially 130 million in Iran. So we are so blessed to have Dr. Shariat join us. And Dr. Shariat, I got to tell you something. My producer and I were talking at the break, and I was getting ready for this serious, this educated man, this serious talk, and I am blown away. And we were, producer and I were blown, your joy, your lightness, your humor. I got to tell you, it caught me a little off guard, and I'm very pleased by it. I can feel the love of God coming through you, brother.
You're so gracious. Thank you, Scott. We got to be joyful with the Lord. And let me share this. On the air, when I'm on the air live, I smile because I pray and I give all my burdens to the Lord, and I ask the joy of the Lord and the love for the people that I don't see behind the camera. And the Lord gives that. And do you know, many people contact us and say, the joy we see on your face, we want that. How do you get that?
Amen.
And that was like an entry point to the gospel. So thank you for mentioning that.
Well, and not only tell me, I feel convicted because, I'm a serious man. I'm an intense man. People know me as Mr. Black. I do some pretty intense training. But, you're teaching me, and you're kind of a third or fourth way God's affirmed to me. Okay, lighten up, Black. Lighten up. I got this. Okay, you're not fighting the battle. I am. So thank you for teaching me, doctor. I appreciate that. Hey, I've been blessed. I have traveled around the world a little bit, probably not as much as you, but a lot of Americans have never left America or only went to Mexico or Canada. I was reading the stuff that your group sent out to me, and you had talked about that you do your broadcast on the satellite because the internet is completely disconnected. So the Iranian people go home and turn on satellite. Let me ask you, can you explain to the people listening, to the American people that are listening, how does the government run the lives of the average Iranian? We're used to being in America where we have these freedoms, but what is a typical life in an Iranian? Do they have access to the internet? Do they have access to things like we do here? Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, they have access to internet. It's totally controlled. Yeah, many of the Christian websites and are blocked. They cannot get into it. And if they get, they're being watched. There is a trace of which websites you visited, even which one you liked. Did you know there are people who are arrested because they contacted us? They are threatened because they went on a website, on a Christian website, and just did like. They get a phone call, a threatening phone call. So it is, the Iranian people do not have any freedom, none. Did you know Islam as a religion has laws for everything? Islam wants to run your life. It's also political, by the way. Many people think, oh, it's just a religion. It's just religion. No, it's a political religious system together. So as a religion, it tries to control everything. They have laws. Can I a little bit be maybe carefully say? They have laws for your bedroom. You have to follow. You have the laws for your bathroom when you go to bathroom. You have to follow those laws. So they want to control even your private life, let alone the public life.
Wow, that's just strange. And Americans have no concept of that. And so this goes back to my next question. The laws there, as a Christian, I mean, how do you get away with this? How do you broadcast without you getting phone calls, without you getting harassed? How does that done?
Well, I'm in America. Of course, I get threatening phone calls, and the government of Iran doesn't like me. They consider me as enemy, and understandably so, because every Muslim that becomes a Christian, they lose their spiritual control power over them. So they're afraid of Christians. There is persecution in Iran, and it's rising. Christianity is growing really fast. So the persecution is a reaction to church growth in Iran. And the government is very afraid of Christians taking over Iran. And we know in the Bible that it will eventually happen. So persecution tries to contain Christians from witnessing and from gathering. So I can talk about persecution and what's happening with the Christians in Iran. But yes, I get life, threats for my life. But we have people inside, Scott, there are young people inside Iran who are serving the Lord, who are witnessing, who are going on streets. They're putting their lives on the line every day. I have not met more brave Christians than Christians in Iran or other persecuted countries. When you have persecution, you have to really believe in Jesus. It's not just easy believism. You believe in Jesus because you may lose your life for your belief in Iran. Even that, people come to Christ knowing that they may be killed because of that. Now, just think about it. People coming from the darkness of Islam to the light of Christ, from hatred to love. They fall in love with Jesus, and they're not ashamed to talk about it, and they're not afraid to talk about it. Compare it to us in America. Comfortable life, we are afraid to speak up even at workplace or friends, and we are ashamed of the gospel. In a way, we are ashamed of the gospel, but even though it's the power of God to transform lives. So we have people in Iran who bravely sharing the gospel. Some of them are arrested and in jail, but they do not back off. Why? Because they know who saved them. They know the transformation. They know the power of Christ. And we need to learn from them. They need us. Of course, the persecuted Christians need us, but we also need them. We need to learn from them.
Amen. Hey, how do people donate to you? You're doing incredible work. How do they donate to you? How do they get to be a part of what you do? Could you let my listening audience know how they can help out?
Well, let's connect. First, you have to know what's going on. So if you connect to us and you get testimonies we have so many testimonies, some in emails you receive that, some in newsletter. So first step is just sign up and be in touch with us. How do you do that? You can go to our website, iranalive.org, iranalive.org. Of course, you can donate if the Lord leads you, but first step, let's connect. iranalive.org. You can sign up there. Or even easier is to text a word to a number. The number is 85789. 85789. So you want to text to somebody, instead of putting their phone number, put this, 85789. And you text the word Iran, IRAN, to that number. Then I will send you a set of links, links to some testimonies, links to website, a link to sign up for the newsletter, and a link, if the Lord leads you, to donate. So let's be in touch. Another part, if you have the media, if you have video resources, if your pastor is a good preacher, if you know organizations that produce videos for children, youth, for education, Bible education, we are looking for partners too. I have 24/7 satellite broadcast. Wow. Even if I'm in town, I'm on it 2 times a week, if I'm in town. So there are many hours that we can use our partners' resources to disciple that nation. Iranians are so hungry. They are so hungry for the word of God. And we have gathered several million. One survey told us, an independent survey told us, you have 6 million daily viewers and over 20 million who watch you weekly. So in addition to prayer, in addition to support us financially, you can come and partner with us to disciple that nation.
Wow. And you know what's so incredible, Doctor, is you talked about it. You said that the people in Iran, they come from darkness, and now they have this hope, this light. And it reminds me of Mark 5. Mark 5 is actually one of my favorite chapters. Jesus does 3 miracles. He gets rid of the legion of demons out of the guy by the graveyards. He heals the woman with a blood issue. And then Jairus' daughter, he was to heal her and then actually resurrects her. But all 3 of those people, their life was incredibly changed by Jesus. And so all 3 of them changed their life drastically. They never went back to the same life. And what I hear you talking about right there is exactly what these Iranians, their life has been changed. As Jesus told Nicodemus, right, you must be born again. You must have a new spirit. These people in Iran are getting a new spirit, and the breakthroughs and the growth are stunning. I mean, how many thousands of people are you bringing to Christ? If you could track, is there a number there that you have?
Yeah, the ones who contact us. Many people cannot contact. They're even afraid, or we're blocked. It's hard to contact us. But we just passed last month the number 100,000 people who have contacted us the last 20-some years, 23 years we have been on there. But amazing thing is this, Scott, this over 100,000, there have been more who have come to Christ the last 3 years than the previous 20 years. So we see exponential growth in the number of Iranian Muslims who are coming to Christ. I don't know how much we have time. Can I share you with a story?
Well, and we're getting ready to go a hard break, but we'll bring you back after the break, and then let's open up with that story. Is that okay?
Awesome. Wonderful.
Awesome. All right, so we're getting ready to go a hard break. With us today is Dr. Hormoz Shariat. He is with an organization that is basically transforming Iran from Islamic country into a Christian nation. That's what I said. If you don't believe me, stay tuned. After these messages, you'll hear from the great doctor. We'll be right back. If you're confused, lost, lonely, or feel like you're living in a foreign land, you are not alone. This is Scott B. Black, host of Like It Matters Radio. It's this crisis that created Like It Matters Radio in 2015. God charged me to bring hope to the airwaves by bringing clarity to the confusion and to help guide people to function at a higher level. We bring truth therapy, and we need your help. Like It Matters Radio is now available to radio stations across this country. We need Like It Matters Radio in all 50 states, and here's what you can do to help. Please call the program manager of your local radio station. Ask them to add Like It Matters Radio to their schedule. It doesn't cost them anything and will add value to their station lineup. If you have questions, you can email me at mrblack@likeitmattersradio.com Our nation needs to hear this message because our beloved country is rapidly deteriorating and freedom is continually being quenched. Call your local radio station today and ask them to add Like It Matters Radio. Together, we can help others live their lives like it matters.
From Glencoe to New Mexico and Apple Valley to Napa Valley, we're where you are. Ringing liberty and truth. Stream Freedom 1570 at Odyssey.com or with the free Odyssey app. Freedom 1570 is proud to air the Pledge of Allegiance every weekday morning. If you're a veteran, current service member, or a first responder, we would like to honor your service by having you recite the pledge. If you're interested, please call us today and we'll book a time for you to visit our studios. The number is 651-289-4410. That's 651-289-4410. Then join us for the pledge each weekday morning at 7:30.
Whether you're preparing for a typical Sunday morning or a special holiday service, you'll find an array of helpful, creative tools from Worship House Media. From countdown timers to sermon illustrations, visit worshiphousemedia.com. That's worshiphousemedia.com, a division of Salem Media Group.
It's not a one-time event that you get something out of and then you go home. This is an application that I've been using and I will use for the rest of my life. Hey, this is Brett from Sacramento. I'm a recent graduate of Leadership Awakening. I've taken leadership courses from the military and work, and I've been on self-help journeys my whole life, but Scott Black's Leadership Awakening course is so different than anything I've ever taken or seen, and we all have the same kind of needs. I learned how to prioritize what was important in my life through leadership. Scott chops everything into bite-sized pieces so it's easily digestible. The gift that I got out of that course was something that will be with me for the rest of my life. Everybody needs this. It is life-changing.
The next Leadership Awakening class in Minneapolis is August 31st through September 2nd. Reserve your place today at likeitmatters.net. That's likeitmatters.net.
Welcome back to Like It Matters Radio. Radio, like it matters, inspiration, education, and application. And today, you are getting all of it because today we're talking about someone who is making a huge impact for the kingdom around the world. Muslim-born Dr. Hormoz Shariat prepared to speak about incredible things, those that are spiritual, those that are political, and concerning Iran and the escalating crisis. Many have called him the Billy Graham of Iran. He doesn't think so, which shows he's a good Christian man because he's humble. For the meek shall inherit the earth, not the proud, not the pride. So let's welcome back the good doctor. Dr. Shariat, you, before we went to break, you had a story you wanted to share. Go ahead, please share that story.
We are talking about valuing Christ in our lives, and we all need to do that. And in the West, we are comfortable, and being a true disciple of Christ has to be intentional for us to be dedicated. But for the persecuted, it comes naturally. They have nothing. Their lives are in danger, especially Muslims who have come from Islam to Christ, from hatred to love, from darkness to light. They know what they got it, and they value it, and they live it. So let me tell you this story. I cannot go to Iran, but we have to train leaders. We have underground churches in Iran in over 100 cities, and I have to train them. So I train them online, but sometimes face-to-face. And I cannot go to Iran, so I bring them outside. There was a conference several years ago in Turkey, and I went to Turkey. I brought those leaders from Iran to Turkey to teach them. They were so hungry. So they were so hungry for the Lord. And they were sitting at our teaching. I had 2 or 3 other teachers with me because I cannot do it all by myself. So from 9 in the morning to 10 p.m., they were sitting there taking in all the teachings from the Bible. They were hungry. They were taking notes. And every night after at 10 o'clock, we teachers were tired. We would go to bed, but not them. The students will stay up. They start worshiping from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. every night. Worship, praise, sing, dance, make new songs. Because they cannot do that in Iran. They cannot sing loud. They cannot dance. They cannot worship in a group. They cannot worship loudly. So they were loud and dancing, singing every night. So here is the end of the conference. The conference is over. They're going back the next day, and this is the afternoon. They're free. And once again, they are dancing, making songs, laughing, worshiping the Lord all afternoon. I looked at them. You know what I thought, Scott? I said, tomorrow they're going back, and they may be arrested, even at the airport if they have their names. And maybe some of them may be called to give their lives, go to jail, tortured. Do they know this could happen? Maybe I didn't teach them well. I said, maybe I should teach them about persecution in the Bible. I didn't teach them. So I interrupted them. I said, hey, stop. I have one more lesson. Sit down. I want to teach you. So they all sat down. And from the Bible, I taught them about the reality of persecution. The Bible says even if you want to live a godly life, you will be persecuted, let alone serve the Lord in an Islamic nation. I talked about persecution, how normal it is for Christians, and I told them you may have to pay a price, and some of you may even be killed. Are you aware of that? So now, they sat down quietly, listened to me respectfully, and after I was done, this is what I heard. This is what they said. Pastor Hormoz, don't worry about us. We know what we got into. When we were Muslims, we were ready to die for Allah, who is a distant and cruel God. How much more we are ready to die for Jehovah, who is an intimate and loving God. We know what we got into. Don't worry about us. And by the way, you interrupted our Jesus party. Can we go back with continue to worship? Wow. You interrupted us. So that's the picture we have. I don't want to bash Christians in the West. We are comfortable, but we need to be intentional. We need to dedicate our lives intentionally to the Lord, loving Him, obeying Him, sharing His love with others. It has to be intentional. Otherwise, we fall half asleep.
Amen. And this is what Luke says. This is Luke 14. I wrote about this in I do daily blogs, send it all over the world. That's Scripture, and I explain Scripture. And so this was June 25th, Luke 14, 26 through 27. If anyone comes to me and does not hate his own father and mother and wife and children and brothers and sisters, yes, and even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. Whoever does not bear his own cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. You are creating disciples, brother. Man, it's so incredible. Again, please, for all those listening around the world, how do they reach you? How do they connect with you? How do they become a part of what you're doing? Please take this time and share that again, Doctor.
Well, thank you. Yes, I would love to connect with you and explore what the Lord has for you. And the Lord wants to use you to make history in the Middle East. Here is an open door. If you're a history maker, let's do it together. Iran will be a Christian nation according to God's word promise. So contact us, iranalive.org, iranalive.org. You can go there, sign up to be connected with us, sign with the email or your address if you want to receive the hard copy. Donate if the Lord leads you. Come and partner with us. And again, an easy way is to text the word Iran, I-R-A-N. Text it to this number, 85789, 85789, and you get a set of links to testimonies, to the website, and to sign up. So let's be in touch. God bless.
Amen. So, Doctor, God bless you, and I will be in touch, and I'm going to be a part of your resource. So whatever I can do to help out, I'm here, okay? So we're saying goodbye now to Dr. Shariat. God bless you, and I look forward to what God has for us in the future. Okay, Doctor?
God bless you. You're so gracious.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye. An old man going a lone highway came at the evening cold and gray to a chasm vast and deep and wide, through which was following a sullen tide. The old man crossed in the twilight dim. The sullen stream had no fear for him, but he turned when safe on the other side and built a bridge to span the tide. Old man, said a fellow pilgrim near, You're wasting strength with building here. Your journey will end with the ending day. You'll never again pass this way. You've crossed the chasm deep and wide. Why build you this bridge at this evening tide? The builder lifted his old gray head. Good friend, in the path I have come, he said. There followeth after me today a youth whose feet must pass this way. This chasm that has been not to me, to that fair-haired youth may a pitfall be. He too must cross in the twilight dim. Good friend, I am building this bridge for him. That's a poem by Will Allen Dromgoole. It's called The Bridge Builder. And we just heard from a bridge builder. Dr. Shariat is a bridge builder. See, this is what living your life like it matters means. This is about what it means to take a risk, to step out, to be uncomfortable. And it's time to decide, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to decide, mothers and fathers. It's time to decide, whose team are you on? Are you going to be a bridge builder? Are you leaving this world a bit better than the one you found it? If you are a child of God, are you closer to God today than you were last year? If you are a child of God, how many people in the last year are now walking closer to God, who are seeking God, or are walking with God because of your role in their life? How many people are you helping heal the pains of yesterday with the hope of tomorrow? See, all those require a bridge. How do we get from yesterday, where so many people are focused on, into today, which is the only place we have any control of, and eventually to tomorrow that's filled with hope and grace and mercy and understanding? As Dr. Shariat said, it doesn't happen by chance. It takes some work. That's what we're doing here at Like It Matters Radio. Where you listen to podcasts, start liking our podcast, start sharing our podcast, download, because what's coming up on podcasts only, you will not hear on Like It Matters Radio, is my incredible interview. 8 minutes with a woman who took down Roe v. Wade. So wherever you listen to podcasts, search out Living Life Like It Matters. And please like us, share us, and download us. I am Mr. Black, reminding you, when you live your life like it matters, it does.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 844-47-BIBLE. That's 844-47-BIBLE. 844-47-BIBLE.
Ringing liberty and
It's always the right time deal.
Hey, want to go to Mickey D's for lunch?
Ooh, let's go now.
But it's not lunchtime yet.
If we're going to McDonald's, it's always the right time.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that.
There's a deal for every lunch hour at McDonald's.
Now's the time to get 2 for $3.99. Mix and match a 4-piece McNuggets, a McDouble, a McChicken, or a hot and spicy McChicken. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Single item at regular price.